Hi and welcome. Today we're going to be practicing a few ink blending techniques to turn plain white cardstock into this cute basket. The cut file can be found in my Etsy shop, Sprinkles of Love. For this project you're going to need pixie spray or some other low-tack adhesive, distress ink for blending. I used abandoned coral, mustard seed, and picked raspberry. You can use whatever you like. An ink blending tool, glitz glitter gel and some form of applicator, nuovo glitter pen. I used glue, 2 brads, some sequins, a quick stick pen, and not pictured here are my hot glue gun and my bone folder. So that slice of Swiss cheese is actually the stencil that we're going to use to create the dot pattern on your basket. We need to attach that to your basket piece, and I prefer pixie spray, but you can use any form of low-tack adhesive. I like pixie spray because it doesn't leave any residue on either the pattern piece or the stencil, and your stencil can be used multiple times after just one spray. After you get that spray down, you're going to attach it to your basket piece and give it a quick rub down, and now we're ready for ink blending. I used picked raspberry, mustard seed, and abandoned coral inks by Tim Holtz. You can use whatever colors you like, but whatever you choose, you want to make sure that they're going to look good together if they get blended together a little bit and not create a brown color. To do this, I picked up a little bit of ink on my ink blending tool and tapped a little bit on my glass mat, and then just moving from the edge of the stencil, I applied some ink into the dots. I was completely random about this and didn't pay any attention to the pattern. You want to make sure that you don't overthink this process. I'm going to go ahead and speed through the rest of this. I do want to let you know that when I started blending, I started with my lightest color first, moved to my medium color, and then went on to my darkest color. I also didn't fill in all the spaces on my first pass. I left a few blank and then went in at the end again, starting with my lightest color, moving on to my middle color, and then my deepest color to fill in all the spaces. Look how pretty that turned out. Now you're just going to want to set that aside for a few minutes to dry before we glitter it. While you're waiting for your main basket piece to dry, you can go ahead and ink the edges of your bow and the edges of your trim pieces, or you can just go get something to drink or go to the bathroom or whatever. It's crafting. There's no rush. And now my favorite part of the project, glittering. I use Glitz Glitter Gel in White by Gina K Designs. This is a wonderful creamy product that doesn't flake when it's dry. So for all of those who don't like glitter because of its mess, this is the product for you. I'm going to stir it up a little bit using a craft stick, and I'm also going to use that craft stick as an applicator. I'm going to apply small amounts to my project at a time and use a rubber spatula to fill in the gaps and the holes of my project. You're going to want to use a little bit at a time because you're using this product over ink. It is going to pick up some of the color of the ink, and you might end up with sort of an ombre effect on some of your dots. It will be really beautiful as long as you picked colors that blend well together. And now the grand reveal. You just want to decisively peel that stencil off and set it aside and take a look at your finished product. You'll see the ombre effect in some of the dots, and you can go ahead, now that it's off, sort of smooth out some of that glitter just to make sure that it dries flat and you don't get any sort of rough edges. So hopefully you enjoyed that inking and glittering technique, because we have to do it all over again with the handle. What you're going to want to do is place your stencil down on the handle. It's not going to fit straight across the paper, so you're going to have to do it diagonally. And then you're going to grab your ink again and then blend your ink in and glitter it. If you want to save some time, you can always cut 2 stencils. There is a bit of waiting involved in this project, so while we're waiting for the glitter to dry on the main piece in the basket handle, now is a good time to go ahead and embellish the trim piece with the Nuovo glitter gloss pen. Now is also a good time to go ahead and make your bows. You're going to do this simply by putting some glue in the center of the main bow pieces, then curling the ends in towards it, then wrapping around the small knot pieces and then gluing on the tails. I find it easiest if you go ahead to entrain the paper first by curling it a little bit like you would curling ribbon. And I also do that on the bow tails just to give them a little bit of dimension and make them look cuter. Moving right along, you're going to go ahead and take that main basket piece and go ahead and fold it along all the score lines. You're going to want to make sure that your glitter is good and dry before you do this. Don't ask me why I'm giving you that warning. I'm just giving you that warning. Now it's time to go ahead and glue those trim pieces along the edges of your basket. I find it easiest to do this when I fold in the middle pieces, and then I line up that trim piece with the basket along the score lines. I find that that makes this process the easiest. And then I go ahead and use these clips that I use for sewing to just go ahead and clip it and hold it into place while I glue it. And then when I start gluing, I just place a small bead of glue along the very edge of the design and then tack it down. I work very slowly and I go in sections. And while you're at it, go ahead and glue the handle pieces together. Just go ahead and line up those holes and tack it down. Now it's time to go ahead and embellish the trim with sequins. I like to place a sequin in every dot of the trim, but you can do what you like. This step is also totally optional, but I think it adds a lot to it if you do go ahead and do it. About halfway through this process, if you're going to be using a hot glue gun to glue your bows to your brads, you're going to want to stop and go ahead and plug that in. Finally, you're going to go ahead and hot glue your bows to your brads, and then we're going to assemble the basket. Before you start assembling your basket, you're going to want to go ahead and train the handle by giving it a quick curl like you would do with gift wrapping ribbon. And then to assemble the basket, you're going to put the brad through one side, then the other side, then the handle, then the middle, and open it up. Again, that's one side, the other side, the handle, and then the middle. I hope you had lots of fun with this project, and if you did, check out my shop on Etsy, Sprinkles of Love. Thanks for watching. Bye.